I have got a really simple pared down version of a terrarium that is going to keep the kids busy and entertained on one of those afternoons where they don't know what to do with themselves, and it shouldn't cost you a penny. So you will need a jar with a lid, and if you have got a few little stones in your garden and a few little plants that you don't mind the kids digging up, and I mean really tiny little plants, that is all you need. So we have our jar. There are two options. You can either have your jar vertical, which is a lot easier, or horizontal. If you're doing it horizontal, they can just make a little stand out of some cardboard or a box or whatever, but I'm going to show you how to do the vertical version because it's so much easier. So the first thing you're going to need are a few little stones to go in the bottom. Now this can be gravel, pebbles, glass beads, marbles, anything you've got lying around the house or garden, as long as it's non-toxic and doesn't hold water. So we've got that first in the bottom. Next, send the kids out to do a little bit of foraging. So we're looking for pretty twigs, we're looking for pine cones, we're looking for moss, and we're looking for one or two little small plants. Now, hopefully you're lucky enough to have something like a house leek growing in your garden, or any little ferns, any little seedlings of anything coming up. I mean, you could stick an oak seedling in there. You would need to move it out of there after a little while, but as long as it starts small, that is going to keep the kids busy and help to start teaching them about this wonderful environment. So I've got a selection of little bits and pieces that I've pulled out of the garden. Now these are little sedums and little succulents. Now all of these grow really readily. So you can just snap off a little bit like that, pop it into the soil, and it is going to grow for you beautifully. I've chosen these because these are really easy to grow. Even if they don't have roots on them, you stick them in the soil and they start growing. So if you've got any of these sorts of plants growing in your garden, tell the kids to go and snip a little bit of those off. Otherwise, they can just go and find any little self-sown seedlings that they like the look of, and that will do the job. So I have got a little fern that just grew on its own in the garden, some pine cones and some moss, my jar with its little layer of stones in the bottom, and then we're just going to put a little layer of compost. Now this can be any kind of compost that you happen to have lying around, or even just a bit of dirt that you've dug up out of the garden. Now this is the fun bit. This is the bit that's going to keep the kiddies occupied. Give them two long-handled spoons. So my hand is never going to fit into that jar. If they've got little tiny fingers, theirs might. But the idea is you need to use your special terrarium tools. So with your two long-handled spoons, the first thing you want to do is push the soil down. So you want to make sure it's no more than half full, because you need to have room to plant everything and put in your decorations. So we're going to dig a little hole in the middle of the compost for our plant to go in. Then, very cleverly, you're going to pick up your plant with your two spoons and pop it into the little planting hole. I'm going to use the spoons to firm the soil up all around it. Then you can add your decoration. So you can add moss, and again, you want to use your spoon to help get it where you want it. And we'll stick a little couple of pine cones in there as well. So just gently, again, using the spoon to pull the plant out of the way. So we have our really cute little woodland scene. Now the last thing we need to do is add just a little bit of water. So you don't want to see water coming down into the pebbles. It's just a really tiny little drizzle. To make this even more fun for the kids, if you've got a straw or a bit of rubber tubing, you can give them a glass of water, tell them to put the straw in and then put their finger firmly over the end, and that's going to pick up just a little bit of water so that they can water their special terrarium plant. Now once it's watered, and again you just want a little bit of water in there, you're going to put the lid on and close the lid. So this is a completely enclosed little environment. If it gets knocked off the kids' shelves, it's not going to make a mess like a houseplant will. and it's not going to add moisture into the environment of the house. This is just a wild little plant that we've popped in there. It's not a special terrarium plant. It's not going to live forever, but it is going to live for a while. It's been a fun little project for them to do, and if that little plant dies, you can always go out and get another small plant, or if that little plant does really well, you can move that into a bigger pot or put it in the garden, and then they can get another little tiny plant for their terrarium.